citizen. So that's 100.85 as for the discount. Then next slide, please. Then this is the total computation for the individualized purchase. So selling price less of that to get the selling price net of that. Then the PW discount of 150 to get the total amount payable from 844.75 to 603.39. Next slide, please. And on the part of the business establishment, there are option of sales to arrive at the net sales, but as a deduction from its gross income. In this case, Your Honor, the establishment must present the actual amount of the selling the item or the actual amount of sale. Then you put the discount on the expenses or ordinary expenses, necessary and ordinary expenses as a deduction from the gross income. Your Honor. Next slide, please. Can the input tax be attributable to VAT exempt sales in as tax credit? Your Honor, no. The input tax attributable to the exempt sales shall not be allowed as input tax credit, but must be treated as a cost or an expense account by the seller. It is counting under RR number 7 of that, Your Honor. Next slide, please. As for the bookkeeping and invoicing requirement for the sales of SU and PWD, the business establishment giving sales discount is required to keep a separate book or a record of sales, which shall include mainly the purchaser, the ID or the PDAO ID for the PWD, and gross sales, the discounts granted, the date of transaction, and invoice or OR number for every sales transaction. That's it, Your Honor, for the presentation. Thank you.
So did we gain or did we lose?
For
The government gained,
Your Honor,
Or-
yes.
because she did not pass on the input. Alam ng lahat. From all this exercise, the government gains. Para naman alam ng lahat, hindi ko sinasabi na lahat ay tinatawag.
Yes, Your Honor,
Yes, the government gained because the input back was not. Ba't mo ko tinitingnan na masama?
Mr. Chair, pwede magtanong sa
Sige, BIR, first, let me congratulate you for a very clear and also for being clear. Now, for a more truthful
So,
session.
maganda ba lahat ginagawa ng mga establishments? Kasi unahin ba yung 12% na i-minus from the same amount? Then we go to 20%. Ano? Hindi ba 20?
the 20% is multiplied to the amount net of VAT, Your Honor. That's why we don't multiply.
So which is bigger
Your Honor, if you multiply the 32% directly, it is bigger than the computed amount. However, Your Honor, the discounts given is only 20%, Your Honor.
after the VAT.
After the VAT. Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, para sa siyempre, for benefit of the senior citizen, kasi maganda yung 32% outright discount. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's the goal.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to ask BIR, anong tawag ninyo doon sa yung machine produce official receipts? Yung hindi mo na waste.
Point of sale machine, Your Honor.
Naka-consider
Yes, Your Honor, the system is integrated with the computation of XC discount POD.
Bago po ba nagagamit nila yung POS machine na yan, validated ba, check by BIR?
Yes, Your Honor, we verify that through the examiners, Your Honor, we check the machines, Your Honor.
Sigurado po kayo? Kagabi pa lang kasi ako kumain.
Yes, Your Honor, since the POS requires to get a permit to operate from the DAR.
But, Mr. Chair, you cannot be assured to this committee for the record na lahat ng ginagamit ng mga establishments ay natikling. Kasi may dalawang sipo yun. Hindi ganun ang competition. Sinabihan ko na kagabi, pero sinabihan ko lang kasi mga waiter na panahon.
Your Honor, the establishments using a POS are required to register it with the PIR. But with some of those who do not register it, Your Honor, we have a task force mainly to see to it and penalize the establishments that are not registering their POS with the PIR.
So you are indirectly feeling this representation na you cannot be sure na lahat ng establishment ay na-check ninyo. Like any other government agency, no? Law enforcement agencies, mayroon tayong mga batas pero hindi nila natitigil.
Alright guys, tayo muna sandali. Meron tayong pupunta na preskon lang. Sandali. Yung ano, yung senior citizen discount. Tuloy yung preskon, no? Yung pagdinig sa hearing na yan. Meron tayong pupunta din dito na ibang preskon. Ba't sumunod? Sumunod siya.
Mia, balik ko muna makapawala. Maluwag kasi ito.
Ay.
Maluwag ito eh.
Doon ka lang dapat maiwan. Kasi hindi ko pa pinasama niya. Ayun, yun, okay. Para di ako masabunan.
Hindi naman ikaw mo sa
Oo.
kita kasama.
Oo nga. Tama yun. Alcohol para sigurado. Para sigurado tayo sa pinapasukan natin. Ayan guys, meron tayong press con dito sa kabila. Ha? Oo. Ayan guys, Ma'am Lenny. Nandito po tayo sa may Congress. Meron pong dinilig po yung hearing doon sa mga senior citizen discount. Ngayon ay patapos naman yun. Meron tayong pupuntahan na ano yung conference. Nandito po tayo sa ano. Stable na po kayo dyan. Bali dalawang event po ang pupuntahan natin. Merong ano, may press call at saka may hearing, no, dalawang. Nandito po tayo sa may ano, Ma'am Lenny, sa Congress ngayon sa may Quezon City, banda. Ayan na, nag-uumpisa na po dito.
Diyan na lang muna kayo. Silan muna. Thank you po. Ito, pwede mo itong
Lugi na naman ka na.
Yung wire nga. Hindi pa, wala pa sa usapan mo, Lenny. Wala pa sa usapan.
Bigyan din akong photo. Text mo ko. Yan, para mag-picture tayo.
Napag-trip niyo po.
Couple yan.
Maganda yan, ma'am. Nasa elevator kayo, no? Unang pumasok, tapos sumunod. Ginagawa ano pa. Ano, Sergey?
Hindi ako na-risk. Live kasi.
Morning!
Ako nga, I will ask. So, sino may-ari ng condo?
Mami na
Off the record po.
Umano na sa live.
Konsiya, sobrang galing ng friend ng ano mo.
Hindi, yung ambal ko yun.
Pagbaba namin tapos.
Like, nagulat talaga kami lahat. Ikaw na daw yung ano, laman waiter. Sa
So, na-privilege speech din sila, no?
Ready na daw yun.
Same time. Same time.
Tapos ano daw po, today, yung sagot daw po sa'yo.
Okay.
Ay, joke lang.
Ito, sasagot din sa akin. Oo. Meron akong mga ano, meron din akong mga kwan dito. Sasagot din si ano.
Hindi pa ako nag-ready. Medyo lang. Ito lang eh. Pwede na tayo mag-start.
Kailan po natin yung kasama? Jet, tawagan mo sila.
Sa inyo sa lang.
Ako sir, kailan natin iba sir?
Meron mag-introduce sa amin. Para hindi mo ang classroom ang dating. Parang tanong sa weekly start. Salita naman kayo.
Dapat tayong mangyari.
Sino pang kulang? TV, si Maria. Roger.
Kahit na kayo? No. I'm gonna observe. Puro naman idol.
Magdali ako ng kuwan.
Ano bang sabi ba associate member?
Heads up, good.
Associate member din. Wala. Pahinga mo. Pahinga kami ni Jay. Wednesday na.
Okay na. Ay, sakto, 11 o'clock.
On the dot.
Sino pa? Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to today's press conference. I'm Ryan Ponce Pagpapal, your moderator for today's event. Today we have new faces, and we will allow them to introduce themselves. We have from Lanao del Sur First District Representative Sia Alonto Adjong. La Union First District Representative Francisco Paulo P. Ortega. Visa 5 Zambales First District Representative Jefferson Atonghun. Isabela 6th District Representative Faustino Ino D. Repeat, and our resident guest, Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez.
Can I just object to that point? Residential tapos guest pa.
Okay, before we give the floor for media questions, sir, your opening remarks.
Good morning, of course, to everyone tuning in and listening to Congress TV and, of course, our house live. We are, as you see, we are the young guns of Congress. Nakikita nyo naman po kami around, pero parang this is the first time that we're here in a press briefing. Yung nga po, young guns of Congress, pero we have been serving our local governments. I think mahaba-haba na rin po. I've been serving my local government for about 16 years na po today. So, I'm Paulo Ortega, First District Representative of La Union. And of course, I would like my colleagues to introduce themselves para mas makilala niyo rin po sila before we start with the questions. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Jay Konghun. I am the representative of the First District of Zambales. I've been in government for almost 22 years now. No? Nag-start ako bilang board member, mayor, then vice governor, and now congressman of the First District of Zambales. No? And syempre, we are here, no? To support and defend the integrity of the House, no? So, maraming salamat sa chance na ibinibigay sa amin ngayon na marinig at malaman ko ano yung opinion namin sa mga bagay-bagay. Thank you.
Zia Alonto Adyong, representing the First District of Lanao del Sur. Just like what my colleagues said earlier, I've also been in government service, in public service for quite some time. I started as a member of the assembly, regional legislative assembly in the ARM. And subsequently, when the ARM was abolished through a plebiscite, I was appointed as member of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, serving as a deputy speaker. And this is my first term. And I'm really glad and honored to be sitting alongside with fine gentlemen from Luzon. And I look forward to a fruitful engagement with the media. We would be more than willing and glad to answer all your questions. Thank you very much at magandang umaga po.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today. And good morning again. I'm Red Unity from the 6th District of Isabela. Dati po akong barangay chairman of San Fabian, former National Liga president din po, and I'm in my second term as the 6th District Rep of Isabela. And again, just like my colleagues, I'm happy to be here with you all today. I hope we have a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Suarez. My GCash number is. I think it's a great opportunity that we have the young voices of the House of Representatives. Oftentimes we hear the more veterans of the House, but what we need to also accept is that a large number of the composition of the House of Representatives now are first-time legislators, and a lot of them are very young, full of dynamism, full of enthusiasm, full of innovation, and integrity is very much intact. And it's very important for us as a nation to hear their advocacies and to listen to their opinions when it comes to issues that concern the nation. So it's indeed a pleasure to have them in the press briefing, and I'm sure the next few days to come, a lot more voices coming from the different sectors of the House of Representatives will be heard. So maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you, honorable members, House members. May I call Isa Bendanyo Malio, GMA DCWB, for the first question.
Good morning po, Congressman. Last week po, kinontra na ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. yung isinusulong na secession or yung pagkalas ng Mindanao sa Pilipinas. Pero may sagot po si former President Duterte, and he said, secession is a legal process, doesn't mean going to war. Kung kayo po yung tatanungin, ano po yung position nyo dito, and do you think po appropriate for the government to pursue charges po versus former President Duterte and former House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez na nagsusulong din po itong secession? Thank you po.
Anybody?
Yes, well, we'll start with the issue of secession because it really, the question of calling for independence really started in our community, in the ARM. Way back in the 1960s, 70s, and up to the 80s, in early part of the 90s. And this resulted to series of peace negotiations between, first, initially, the Moro National Liberation Front. And following that, after the 1996 peace agreement, which was signed between the government of the Philippines and the MNLF, the MILF also had its own separate peace negotiation with the government of the Philippines. It started in 1997 during President Ramos's time when he declared a general secession hostilities in order to give way for the negotiations with the MILF. Now, we have already the BARM, and we had the ARMM, and we have the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. I'm saying this because insofar as the call for secession is concerned, I think the Muslim community, minority Muslims in Mindanao, have the moral ascendancy to call for secession in the first place. And this is due to, I think this has already been accepted by the government, even in the previous administration, when former PRRD said that it's time to correct the injustices committed against the Moro people. So we have that ascendancy, the moral ascendancy, to speak about and call for independence. But if you ask us, that issue is already settled. And there is no clamor for us to pursue independence. In fact, we altogether abandoned the call for independence, and we have settled for genuine autonomy because there's no way to move forward than to embrace national polity, join the mainstream Filipino society in order to progress not only the Philippines but to ultimately ourselves. For the past several years, when the call for secession is very, very hot, and the revolutionary movements were very active on the ground, there were no progress that we have seen in our areas. And this is precisely the reason why we have decided, and our elders have decided, that it's not fair to inherit the problem, pass on the problem to the next generation. I am the second generation of Muslim minority in the country who have seen the brunt of war. I've seen it. I know the smell of the decomposing body. So I know the sound of a gun. So kami po yung unang-unang magsasabing tapos na po yan because we want to move forward. Now yes, it may be true that this is a democratic country. Anybody can say their piece. If you are dissatisfied or frustrated with your government, you can say whatever you want. But secession has a legal terminology. It is not loosely used by any ordinary people. When you call for a secession, and the national government is very clear, I don't think the national government, especially the security sector, would just hand independence to us on a silver platter. There will be resistance from the national government. And our law enforcement agencies, the security sector, particularly our armed forces, have sworn to protect the integrity and the sovereignty of our country, including our territory. So whoever threatens that the territory and the sovereignty of our country, our military or armed forces have the mandate and in fact the obligation and the responsibility to protect that. That's why President Marcos came out saying he will never surrender even an inch of our territory in the country. So I guess our leaders in Mindanao should be more circumspect because they have the chance to really improve the lives of the people. And we've seen the fruit of the peace process and allow that to really have its own way of really bringing a progress in Mindanao. When you talk about Mindanao, Mindanao is composed of 33 provinces and many cities. If you discuss to me improvement or those who have not been receiving equal share from the national government, it's mostly the Muslim communities. If you go to Davao City, it's even more progressive than many cities here in Manila, I guess, or in Visayas. If you go to Cagayan, and many these are progressive cities, and they don't have the, I guess, wala ho silang rason para sabihin nila magsisit sila. So it's mostly about the Muslim communities, minority Muslim communities. Why is that? Because we've been subjected to series of armed conflict, and we do not want to happen that again. And I guess on the part of our military, if there's going to be a push for secession, then through let's say a peaceful manner, nobody would even join the group. If you talk about taking up arms, that's another question. Because that would entail, I guess, a heinous crime that would, that would be, you'll be facing heinous crimes because under the revised penal code, there will be a lot of consequences if you be push more aggressive in your call. So I guess my calling to our leaders, be more circumspect. If we should not use independence or the issue on secession of Mindanao as a political slogan. We should not use that loosely in order to express our dismay politically. This issue of secession have killed more than 1,000 great men. So let's put it to rest. We want to join the Philippines. We embrace unity. And let's support this administration call for unity. Wag mo natin gamitin ito na political slogan or tirahin because we are frustrated personally and politically sa nakaupong mga leader. Huwag po. Kasi it adds insult to the memories of those who are fallen. And those our troops who have sacrificed their lives in order to protect the Philippines. At the least that we can do is to honor their memories and keep this country intact.
Thank you, sir. Do our guests have any other final remarks?
Follow up na lang.
Sige.
Sorry po, follow up na lang po. Sa palagay niyo po ba, dahil si former Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez yung nagpupush nito at mukhang desidido siya along with former President Duterte, sa palagay niyo po ba dapat siyang isubject to an ethics complaint?
Go ahead, sir.
Well, that we haven't discussed that yet, and that would depend on of course, the leadership, but it also would depend on the gravity of the offense. Basically, we have rules here. Of course, we are congressmen and we have sworn loyalty to the country. We have yun ang oath po namin. But that would depend on how the House of Representatives would see that. But I would advise, I do not want to presume, more knowledgeable. Kasi mamalayo po, in terms of experience, he has been here for, he's been serving the House of Representatives. He was a former speaker. He should know better than us. So I guess it's not really maybe an appeal as a first termer. Because we also follow the footsteps of our veteran legislators. They inspire us. And unfortunately, that kind of call does not do any good to anyone, especially us, the neophytes of the House of Representatives. I don't know, that would depend on how things will move forward. Thank you.
Excuse me, Kong, no? Sa opinion ko, no? This is an issue of respect, no? Yung respeto. Hindi naman po pwede na may ayaw ka, tapos ang gusto mo, paghiwalin na yung bansa, no? With all due respect, no? Nung panahon ni Presidente Duterte, meron din naman mga opinion na hindi naman sang-ayon ng mga tao, pero hindi naman dumating sa punto na tumatawag tayo ng paghihiwalay, no, ng mga iba't ibang parte ng ating bansa. So sana respetuhin din natin ang administration ni Pangulong Marcos, no, at magkaisa na lang tayo at para hindi na tayo nagkakagulo-gulo at lalong-lalo na ang Mindanao ngayon is paunlad na, no? Umuunlad ng Mindanao at talagang tinututukan ng ating presidente yung mga problema sa Mindanao, no? So talagang nakikita natin yung pagbabago ngayon sa Mindanao ngayong panahon na ito. So sana itigil nila yung panawagan, no, tungkol sa paghihiwalay, no, ng Mindanao. Thank you.
Are there any additional remarks our guests would like to make or share?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
I'd just like to state, iisa tayong tao, iisa tayong bansa, iisa tayong Pilipinas. Just a thought of Mindanao seceding is worrisome and deeply saddening. No? At this point in time, in 2020, na po, napaka-progressive na ng ating bansa. Kinikilala po tayo sa buong mundo, sa ginagawa po natin ngayon, development po natin, at ang liderato rin po ng ating mahal na Pangulo na nakakapagtulong sa bawat sulok po ng ating bansa ngayon. And just a call for seceding Mindanao or secession is really deeply saddening. So I hope na-feel po sa ating mga leaders na tigilan na po natin ito. Sa isang alang-alang na po natin for the sake of our country, for the sake of unity po. Maraming salamat.
Kong Paolo.
Mahaba na nga yung mga sagot nila. Pero the point is, parang reactionary lang yung yung about the case of Mindanao. Kasi if they were studying it and they were planning this for the longest time, matagal na po na nandyan yung mga political actors na nagpo-push for this. Bakit hindi po nasama sa pag-aaral dati at hindi naman po natutukan. So, yun nga, the call of the President during the campaign was for us to be united. So, he's standing by that. Gusto niya, united ang Pilipinas, united ang Pilipino. Kasi, pag hindi tayo magkaisa, walang peace and order, then, paano usbong tong ekonomiya natin? So, ang dami pa nating mabibigat na problema, which is talaga dito kami sa Kongreso. Kaya nga po naipasa na po namin yung mga LEDAC priority measures, nakapasa na po lahat. Kasi we see the urgency of the power of legislation na gawin mas maayos ang buhay ng mga kapwa natin. So, yun lang. Thank you.
Thank you, sirs. Next question. Yes, si Billy. Lalabas lang. Kasi ano mo na si paring si Ed Galvez of FPBC. You recognize pa?
Good morning, sirs. As the young guns, as mentioned by Congressman Ortega, any message, any Valentine message for the Senate, particularly the former Sipak Party List Representative Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva.
To Senator Villanueva, of course, our colleagues and friends from the Senate, let's aim for peaceful negotiations and dialogue. Kung maliit man po pagtingin po sa amin ni Senator Villanueva, hindi po tayo equal. Sana lamang po tutukan na lang po natin ang ating trabaho bilang legislators. Dahil kami nga po nabanggit po ng ating kasama na si Kong Paulo Ortega na 54 to 57 priority LEDAC measures are done in the House. So let's focus on the work at hand. Especially ating pong RBH 6. We appeal also to the Senate. Na nasa inyo na po ang bola. We've already agreed that the House will adopt and approve the Senate's version of the RBH 6. So, yun lamang po.
I'd like to add to what Congressman Tino said. I know the premise where you're trying to premise your question because Valentine's Day is almost here. No? I think we're celebrating every February. We're celebrating love, no? Celebrating love, but love goes two ways. It should not be one way. It should be reciprocated. Love is partnership. Love is humility. Love is about sharing your life with another. You put that context in the way the legislature is framed under the Constitution. We have two chambers in the House, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The balance of that is parliamentary courtesy. Now you may define that as love. Yes, that's part of part of love is respect and humility. So I guess in order for the love to thrive, put that in the context of the legislature, since we are celebrating Valentine's Day this February, I hope he would be more humble enough to realize that your words can cut deeper than swords. And so I would like to, my message to him is have a very nice Valentine's Day with your partner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, ayun nga, said by our friends here, tinitignan ko kasi maigi, parang yung dami nating back and forth, na-touch ni Kong Zia yung sa parliamentary courtesy. Siyempre po, ang parliamentary courtesy, hindi naman po pwede na nasa loob ka ng House, nasa loob ka ng Senado, ganito yung sasabihin mo. Pero pag nasa labas ka, may ibang media outlet na interview, personal attacks naman yung ilalabas natin. Parang siguro the term parliamentary courtesy should extend beyond the offices. Kasi kaya nga tayo honorable dito honorable members. We have the mandate of the people. So mas maganda po na talagang tayo yung ehemplo ng pinakamataas na pagpapakita ng respeto, tulungan, pagkakaisa, di ba? So, kaya sabi ko tuloy, para siguro magjowa na nag-LQ yung yun ang nangyayari ngayon. Usually ang problema pag nag-LQ, di ba, parang may gap, may communication gap. Well, I doubt if may gap yung legislative process kasi wala naman naging problema before sa legislative process. Siguro, emotions are very high and yun nga lang, we must uphold parliamentary courtesy at the highest form na kaya natin gawin, maximum tolerance. Yun nga, dapat talaga kasi nag-uusap So, paano pag hindi nag-usap yung mag-jowa, di wala na. Break na. Hindi naman maganda yun. Kami ni Kong Jay, pinaglalaban namin yung mga ganyan. So, ang message ko lang sa kanila, we love them very much and parang hindi kayo naniniwala. Mahal na mahal namin sila kasi kinampanya namin sila, binoto namin sila, sinuportahan namin sila. And sabi nga ni Kong Sia, dapat they should reciprocate the love that we are going to be and still going to be showing and giving to our partners in the Senate. Thank you.
Yes, no?
Paano sir kung lumapit ulit ang mga senators sa local, sa election, lalapit ulit sila?
Okay lang. Lapit sila sa amin. Pero ang punto naman namin dito ay mag-usap. Yung mga issues na inaayos natin sa House, kailangan maayos muna kasi malapit na po, ilang buwan na lang So, ang target naman natin dito, ang tagline natin dito, magkaisa. So, we will push for that. We will go hard for that. Pero, kailangan siguro, tama na yung pag nasa labas na ng mga opisina, may mga kanya-kanyang patutsada pa. Wala na mangyayari dito. Back and forth na lang talaga.
Tsaka hindi naman po pwede na yung kanang kamay mo tumatawag ng pagkakaisa tapos yung kaliwang kamay mo sumusuntok, no? Kami naman sa House, syempre, pinagtatanggol lang naman namin yung integrity ng House, no? At saka, pag hindi naman kami sasagot, masyadong bugbog-sarado naman ang Kongreso at napapasama na, no? Sa totoo lang, yung House of Representatives, siya yung bugbog na bugbog ngayon, no? So, sana tigilan na, no? At saka yung sinseridad sa pagtawag ng unity, no? Pag sinasabi nila na magkasundo na, sana magkasundo na lang. Hindi po pwede yung ginagawang punching bag ang Kongreso.
Yeah, let me just add. Senator Joel Villanueva's statements. Well, I think he heard a lot of congressmen, definitely 100%. Especially the privileged speech that was delivered yesterday. Hindi tama yung ginawa niyang pagmamaliit sa mga miyembro ng mababang kapulungan. Hindi tama nung sinabi niyang district representatives lang kayo, party list lang kayo, at kami nationally elected kami. Hindi po tama yan. Especially we're a bicameral system of the legislative branch wherein we're both co-equal. I guess my young guns are a little bit kinder than myself. Ako, ang motto ko na lang pagdating sa mga senators, we will never forget.
Meron lang po kayo dadagdag doon kay DS. Kasi may sinasabi po nila, I think they're projecting na binubuli sila ng House. No? So, pagkakalam ko, Boss DJ, kasi sila po yung sinasabi, mas may mandato sila malaki, 15 million pa kayo mga boto nila. Meaning to say, they're popular than us. So bakit namin sila mabubuli on the media? So with all due respect, whenever they hold press conference or magsabi sila ng saan sila, because they're national leaders. They've been looking, the people are looking when we actually look at them like a source of inspiration, tapos sinasabi nila, kami no, wala ho sa amin ang namubuli kasi hindi ho mabuli ang isang tao na mas, according to their logic, mas superior kaysa sa'yo. So I think it's not fair to say na ganun-ganun lang. Ang dali lang na sila sabihin sa amin. Sabi nga ni Boss JJ, DS, na maliit yung tingin kasi mga district representatives. No? So paano mabubuli ang isang bagay? Halimbawa, bubuli ang mas according to their own interpretation. No, a weaker one cannot bully the bigger one. As simple as that. So, tama po yung sinabi ng aking mga colleagues dito. It's start to lay down and go back actually to the very essence of why we have two chambers in the legislature. Para po may respeto at may galang sa bawat isa. At maging careful po tayo sa mga ating sinasabi. Dahil pag ikaw po ang nagsabi ng isang bagay na nakakasira sa integridad ng isang institusyon, lalo-lalo na sa personalidad ng isang tao, mahirap na mong bawiin yan. So, kaya nga po sabi nga ni Boss Paulo, willing naman kami, we're open arms eh. Should they want to like 2028, may election na eh. Open arms naman po. So, gano'n lang po yung dadagdag ko sa sinabi po ni Boss, yes, JJ.
Saka dagdag ko lang po, no? Nakikita niyo naman, mukha ba kami bully? Ikaw lang. Wala naman kung mukhang bully dito, di ba? Nagwapo ng mga young guns yan. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let us recognize Mr. Billy Vegas from Abante Politico for his questioning.
Sir, Mike. Magandang hapon po. Sir, ask ko lang po your thoughts dun sa banat ni former President Duterte at yung anak niya kay President Marcos, while yung si VP Sara naman remains in a cabinet. And number 2 po, meron pa bang unity sa unity?
The principle of the unity goes beyond the relationship of the president of the vice president. No? Tulad kami sa House, buo kami, we are united, no? On the call of the president, under the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez, no? Sana isa lang ang hinihingi namin na sana kausapin din sana ni VP Sara, no, yung kanyang pamilya, no, para suportahan ang ating pangulo dahil wala namang ibang gusto ang ating pangulo kundi ang kaunlaran at katahimikan ng ating bansa. So if you're asking is kung buo ba ang unity team, yes, we are united under the leadership of the President.
Ako yung reaction ko lang, Sir Billy, no? Billy. Hindi ko masyado parang binibigyan ng weight yung mga birada, yung mga banat. Kasi nakikita ko naman dito sa kami, perfect examples kami, nasa distrito kami, nasa ground. Gumagana po eh. Napaka-ayos po ng katakbo ng gobyerno, gumagana. So, ibig sabihin, nagbubugso lahat yun sa gitna namin, yung unity. So, yung mga pinangako ng eleksyon, yung mga, kumbaga, yung tagline before the elections, the hashtags and the promises, nararamdaman namin sa distrito. And I'm sure yung nasasakupan ko, yung distrito namin, nararamdaman po nila yung gobyerno sa mga panahon ngayon because of what we are doing in legislation and what we are doing on the ground. So, yun lang po.
Well, yung unity po hindi lang ho yan natapos ang kampanya. Yung sinasabi pong unity, no? Ang gustong, yung political slogan ng President, ni BBM at ni VP Sara. It was in fact converted into a concrete and actual plan. Dahil nga nagkaroon po tayo ng launching ng bagong Pilipinas, remember, no? And VP Sara was there. And makikita po natin yung relationship. VP Sara is still in the cabinet. Nanda sa administration po ni President Duterte, and she's very, very supportive of the plans of the current administration. And as far as the House is concerned, explain na po ni Boss J at saka ni Boss Paulo, the House is composed of 311 tayo, Boss J? Yes, no? 311 members. And we all come from different political parties, and the House of Representatives is a perfect venue to exemplify unity. Kasi pakita niyo po, talagang solid po kami dito, no? Sa House of Representatives. Talagang doon po natin mararamdaman. And in fact, we also go beyond the walls of the House of Representatives. We in fact reach out to other branches of government. In fact, we have delivered yung mga priority legislations ng administration na to. Yung mga nasa LEDAC na priority legislations, we only have to, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, Boss JJ, we only have to approve 3 no, of the 17 remaining LEDAC. So, kung titingnan po natin sa perspective ng actual governance, meron po. I don't think there's a crack in it. Kasi solid po ang ating gobyerno, solid po ang legislature sa President at the Vice President. She's very, she came out with a statement that she does not agree with this, with the utterances or the pronouncement of her family. She in fact still supports the President. So that is an indication that the political campaign during that time was actually still intact insofar as putting the words into concrete actions.
Gusto ko lang po dagdagan ng konti yung sinabi po ng aking mga kasamahan. No? Kagaya po ng sabi nila, nandito po tayo sa Kongreso, sa House, mula kami sa iba't ibang parte ng ating bansa, iba't ibang partido, pero iisa po ang ating layunin na paunlarin ang ating bansa, paglingkuran ng ating mga kababayan, at yun po yung unity brand na isinusulong po ng ating mahal na Pangulo at ni Vice President Sara nung sila po tumatakbo. At kami po lahat hanggang ngayon, at kung tatanungin nyo rin po ang mga leaders po natin sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas, ay panigurado sila pa rin po ay naniniwala dito sa konsepto ng unity. Dahil lahat naman po nga tayo, ayun nga pong layunin natin, ay ang pagbabago at kaunlaran ng ating bansa. At nandito na po tayo sa panibagong yugto ng pagbabago. Nakikita naman po natin, kagaya na sabi ni Kong Paolo, pumunta po kayo sa iba't ibang sulok ng ating bansa ay napakaraming proyektong nangyayari, napakaraming programang ibababa sa ating mga kababayan, napakarami po natin natutulungan. And you can see it, the utilization rate ng ating mga ahensya ng gobyerno. So ako po pa rin, syempre, the unity team is still strong and alive in our country today.
Thank you, sir. May recall on Red Mendoza of Manila Times.
Hi po. Good morning po. My single question lang po is yung reaction. Kung Adjong, I'd like to ask your reaction po sinabi ni former presidential spokesman Sal Panelo sa The Manila Times na yung reaction daw po ng mga tao sa opposition ng Mindanao Succession has become gone ballistic from overreaction to utterly absurd. And I quote him na an idea of Mindanao succession cannot be absolutely said to be doomed to fail. Any advocacy or concept must pass the crucible of a debate prior to the determination of its success and failure. And lastly, sinabi niya na the succession is anchored on the principle that the people have the right to self-govern, the right to self-determination. They have the right to choose the kind of government they want, to choose the officials who will govern them, and to determine their future. Kung ano po masabi niyo po dito sa sinabi ni former Attorney Sal Panelo?
Well, obviously, former Secretary Panelo is not from Mindanao. Because sabi ko nga, pag sinabi mong secession and independence, these are not mere words to us. Na-experience namin, ang daming namatay. Ang daming gera. Of course, when you hear this issues again popping up out of nowhere, of course it will remind you of your past experiences before. And it doesn't set well in our memory. Obviously, he's not from Mindanao, so he does not know why we reacted this way. And yes, alam mo, sabi ko nga, we are a democratic society. There's plenty of spaces where you can, say your piece. But when you discuss about secession, it has a very deep meaning to it. Kasi you're talking about not only disenfranchising a certain areas from the Philippines, you're actually threatening our territory. You are threatening not only the geographical composition of the Philippines, but you are in fact threatening the existing institutions, which, by the way, institutions are very, very working now. So I'm sorry if that's not his cup of tea. Pero kami ng mga taong Mindanao, at kami ang nakarinig ng putukan, at kami ang nakita kung sino namatay. Ako namatay na ako ng mga kamag-anak. Of course, when you talk about and come approach me and talk about these things, hindi lang go ballistic, baka ano. So, ang ano ko lang sa kanya, kay Secretary Panelo, pupunta lang kaya siya ng Mindanao at doon siya tumira sa area namin at sabihin niyang may mga, kung may mga, lalo na sa mga community, mga conflict-stricken communities. At sabihin kaya niya na mag-independent siya. At anong makukuha niyang reaction?
Thank you, sir. For the last two questions, maybe from Mela of PTV4 and Sheila from Philippine Star. And another one from Beacon. Okay, last question, Kabi. Mela.
Okay, just a follow-up question. I'm Melanie Mars from PTV4. Just a follow-up question about charter change. Actually, for DS Suarez, but other congressmen can also answer. Kahapon po kasi sa ating press conference, nawagan na rin yung House leaders na imbes na World War, manaig na nga at magkaroon na ng healthy and democratic discussion. Sabi nyo nga po, let love rule. Pero ang nangyayari po kasi, sa ngayon nga, tuloy pa rin, even sa Senate plenary, meron pa rin message about sa House at kumbaga ay tuluyan pa rin yung mabibigat na salita. Para sa inyo, kailan po kaya natin ito nakikita nga mahihinto at given na isang buwan na lang ay mag-break na, Holy Week break na ang Kongreso, sa tingin nyo, kayang-kaya pa rin naman po itong maipasa itong RBH 6 naman sa dalawang kapulungan ng Kongreso?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of the Senate when it comes to how quickly they can do their work. But I can speak on behalf of the House because this is what I am a member of. When it comes to productivity, in absolute terms, the House has delivered in all SONA legislative measures, in all LEDA requirements, and in every legislative action that has been asked of us by the executive. So when it comes to efficiency and productivity, undoubtedly, unquestionable ang House dyan. Ngayon, sa bahagi ng Senado, it's mixed signals eh. SP Mig said matatapos nila before Holy Week. Now, sinasabi ni Senator Angara, baka October. Tapos may ibang senators na nagsasabi na huwag kang mamadaliin. So, we really can't hold on to a definitive timeline when it comes to how soon the Senate can act on RBH 6. That's why I'm asking the media to please ask them what is their timeline. If you were with us yesterday at narinig nyo yung paliwanag ni Congressman Joey Salceda at saka ni Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, the numbers speaks for itself. The Philippines is now 8th from the last of 10 countries. So how long do we have to wait before we actually realize there's so much work that needs to be done para may natin itong RBH 6? At saka the passage of the RBH 6 is just one step. After we do the RBH 6, we're going to have to move with having a plebiscite. Then after we have a plebiscite, we're going to have to operationalize the Constitution by enacting laws. And I'm telling you, aabutin na tayo ng midterm elections. Pagkatapos nun, may bagong set of congressmen, may bagong set ng senators na darating, baka ma-operationalize natin to masyadong dulo na sa term ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. That's why ang panawagan ko sa Senado, and we have been very consistent since January when we've been having this press conference, do your work and do your work fast. Because time is not on our side. And neither are the other countries in the world and the businesses and the investors. They are not going to wait for the Philippines. We need to make sure that the gates are open for them to come in.
Thank you, sir. Number comment?
Tayo,
Number comment from our guest?
You know, with regards to this, may pagkakataon po tayong amendahan kung ipapasa po ito ng Senado ang ating konstitusyon. Kasi kung titingnan niyo po, nakakalungkot naman po talaga, no? People would compare our country, the development in our country to our neighboring countries. Transportation, yung cost of electricity natin, cost of telecom natin, certain services. That the brunt of this is is burdened to the Filipino people, mga kababayan po natin yung naantala dito. Sila po yung nagsasakripisyo at naapektuhan dahil nga po dito sa hindi po natin magawa ng solusyon. Although of course, our country is progressive, we're developing, although to reach another point of our development, we really need to amend the Constitution. I'm fully supportive of this. I know members of the House are supportive of our counterparts in the Senate to really consider and provisions at to pass na po RBA 6. Yun lamang po. Salamat.
Well, kay Kapi PJ kasi, ganun lang din mo naman ang aming panawagan. Ako, at least, no? Yung economic provisions na sinasabi po sa ating Constitution, in fact, ang magbe-benefit lang hunta talaga nito, kami pong nasa laylayan. So, ako, as a member, as a representative from first district of my province, it would give tremendous benefit, no? Kung if you revisit the Constitution, na tingnan natin kung ano yung mga possible adjustments ang gagawin natin doon para mapagbigyan yung pagkakataon na tayo naman ay umunlad tulad ng mga neighboring countries natin dito sa ASEAN para hindi naman ho tayo papag-iwanan. Na-choice na lang ho natin yun kung sa darating na mga taon ay ganito pa rin po tayo. So, choice din ho natin na sa darating na mga taon ay mag-improve po tayo. So, it's a matter of choice. And lahat actually, tayo, ang Senado at ang Kongreso, I'm sure we all aim for progress. We all aim for development. Ang gusto ko lang sanang makita in the coming days, huwag sanang gamitin itong issue ng constitutional amendment, itong CHA, gamitin na as a springboard for political preparation in 2025. Gawin po natin, let's be public servant in the meantime and talk about economic provisions. Let's revisit. There's nothing wrong if we sit down and do all the work that we are tasked to do, particularly getting our country at par with our neighboring countries in the ASEAN.
Okay lang po, no? You know where the House stands. Andiyan na po yung stand ng House. The numbers are there. Yung mga natapos namin na trabaho. Simply, what gets measured gets done. So, nandiyan na po yung mga numbers. Solid naman po lahat na isubmit na. Kailangan na lang po trabahuhin. Wala na sa amin yung bola. Kailangan na lang yung part nila, on their part, para mag-winning shot na tayo. Para sa economy kasi minsan po, mahirap po yung mga band-aid solutions na lang na pag may sakuna, bigay ng ayuda, bababa na lang. Hindi ba mas maganda po na dahil sa maganda na po yung ekonomiya pag may bagyo, may disaster, self-sufficient and self-sustaining na po yung mga kababayan natin at yung mga pinaka mas mahihirap pa na sektor, yun na lang po ang ating tinututukan, hindi po yung buong sektor po. So, yun lang. Thank you very much.
Tingin ko hihinto lang yung question nila, kailan hihinto to, yung mga nangyayaring issue ngayon, hihinto lang siguro to pag hinintiw na rin ng Senado yung pang-iinsulto, lalong-lalo na sa mga leaders ng House, no? Hihinto lang to pag tinigilan nila yung pagmamaliit, no, sa mga miyembro ng ng mababang kapulungan. Hihinto lang to, no, pag itinigil nila yung pagbabato ng putik, lalong-lalo na sa mga leader namin. Siyempre, tatay namin si Speaker dito sa Kongreso, natural lang na magre-react kami pag tatanggol namin siya. Pag yung tatay namin binabato, no? Pag may mga leader namin kung ano-ano ang sinasabi, no, sa mga leader natin. So, hihinto lang siguro ito, no? Pag lahat tayo, lalong-lalo na sa House naman, nagtatrabaho naman kami, katulad nga na sinabi ng mga kasama ko, 54 out of the 57 LEDAC measures is naaprubahan na ng House, no? So magtrabaho na lang tayo, huwag na tayong magbatuhan ng putik, huwag na tayong tigilan na natin yung pang-iinsulto, at trabaho na lang, ha? Dahil lahat naman tayo gusto is tulungan ng presidente na mapaunlad yung ating bansa.
Thank you, sir.
Just to cap it off, don't you find it ironic that it's the youth of the nation who's asking for statesmanship? It's the youth of the nation who's asking for interparliamentary courtesy. It's the youth of the nation who's asking to actually work and move forward. So I think that is such a welcome development for us. You're seeing young voices expressing their dismay, but at the same time, young voices expressing their hope that they want to move the country forward. So I just wanted to point that out because it's such a revelation, I guess, for everybody.
Thank you, sir. Let us acknowledge Sheila from Philippine Star.
Ay, good afternoon po. Sir, you introduce yourself as yung Young Guns. Ayun na ba yung papalit sa sa Spice Boys? And sir, pwedeng pakikwento, paano kayo nabuo?
Spicy.
Sino nag-initiate? And ano po exactly yung role nyo? Especially nga may awayan between House and President Duterte, House and Senate.
May manager yan, ha?
Ano yung kanina gagawin nyo to cool down yung situation?
Dami mong tanong na, pero sasagutin natin isa-isa. Well, nag-umpisa to before nung natin, orientation po ng mga neophytes. Lumalabas po halos, hindi naman kalahati, pero close to half of the house are members of the age ng kabataan po, yung atin pong 40 years old and below. So, parang may block na nga po kami, yung Young Guns. So, nabuo to, of course, we wanted to learn. Unang-una, marami pong gustong matuto kung paano po yung trabaho namin dito sa Kongreso. Pangalawa, it's a big network of sharing ideas and sharing best practices po. Hindi ko naman po siguro masabing Spice Boys kasi halo-halo naman po kami. Meron po kaming lalaki, babae, meron din pong yung LGBTQ. So, kompleto po. It's like a block already. Para na po kaming isang section na malaki sa Kongreso. And yun nga, nakita nyo naman po yung sentiments namin dito, yung Young Guns. Talagang it's really a call for everybody to work together. Yung target po natin meron po kami sinusunod na target yung long term, yung medium term, yung mga short term goals po ng bagong Pilipinas. Yun po yung tinatrabaho talaga namin. Kasi ako personally, ang kabataan, medyo napapagod na po sa nakakapagod na rin po minsan yung madaming drama, madaming politika, away, nakakapagod po yun. Ang gusto natin, resulta. Kasi ang kabataan nga ngayon, di ba, napansin nyo, mas mabilis na po lahat ngayon eh. Di ba? May aggressiveness in such a way, pero parang sa, di ba po, sa informasyon, ang bilis lahat. Hindi na telegram, hindi na landline. So, we want things to get done. And tingin ko, yun ang main essence po ng Young Guns. Yung trabaho agad, resulta agad. Yun po ang isang tinututukan po namin. Of course, we combine the idealism of the youth. And syempre, kaya po kami nandito, ang dami po namin natututunan sa mga mas veterano pong members ng House. And ako siguro, paano ko ba sasabihin to? Kasi ako po kasi marami po ako natutunan sa pamilya namin, sa elders namin. Siyempre, pinapass on yan yung mga kwento. Siguro, 1901 po, nasa politika na po yung pamilya namin. And I learned I'm a child of history. Masarap pong matuto. Kaya nga, masarap maging bata ngayon sa Kongreso dahil ang daming magtuturo, ang daming magbibigay ng guidance sa'yo. And if I can speak for our young members, trabaho sa resulta po ang target namin talaga.
Sir, kailan po yung orientation and bakit sa ganitong panahon nyo naisipang press con, introduce yourself? And sir, maging active ba kayo? Halimbawa may negotiation with the Senate. Gano'n yung gano'n kayo naging ka-active?
Yung ano po namin, NCPAG yun, nung bagong elect po kami. Nagkaroon kami ng, hindi na siya, para sa akin, hindi na siya new force kasi parang refresher na lang sa amin yung mga medyo matagal na sa local government. And when they invite us, then we'd be happy to help out with the negotiations po. Kung ano man ba itutulong namin.
Sir, hahalap pa kayo sa Senate at may meeting. Hindi gano'n po yung kayo ka-active. Hindi naman magiging bagong mukha sa mga negotiation para maglumapit ang ulo ng mga tao.
Siguro po gagawin namin lahat ng makakaya namin.